I know it's been a long break here, but remember back to the Avs losing to the Minnesota Wild 3-2 in the second half of a back-to-back. The scheduling here was just absolutely brutal. The Avs played a game against Ottawa at home and then had to travel east a time zone to play Minnesota at their home building while Minnesota was rested and waiting for them. Not a recipe for success. Despite this, the Avs would still have a fantastic first period with them controlling the play for the majority of it. After failing to score on an early power play, it would be the Avs' depth to come through and get a goal at 5-on-5. Directly off a face-off here, just keep an eye on Kamenev's left skate as he has a beautiful win back to Barberio. Barberio doesn't do a ton with this one. He just collects it and throws a little wrist shot towards the net here, and it somehow finds its way through Dubnyk. Not all of them have to be pretty, you just have to get it in the back of the net. That's Kamenev's first ever NHL point, so congratulations to him, and Barberio's first point of the season as well. Now, everyone but Marco Dano has a point on the Avs roster. Well, they actually just called up Sheldon Dries, who has played in a few games as well, who doesn't have a point, but the Avs really getting points from just about everyone in the lineup, and that's good. Now with the lead, the Avs were content for a slow pace that they controlled through the first. The final shot total of the period was just 8-4, so not a ton going on here. Both teams would get a couple more power play opportunities in the period, but neither of them would manage to get anything done there. It would be hard for the Avs to script a better first period given the scheduling situation they had coming into this game. Unfortunately, those scheduling effects would start to become very apparent as the game wore on. In the second period, the Avs actually let a number of opportunities fall to the wayside. Early in the second, they would get a 45-second 5-on-3 opportunity, and they just would not do anything with it, and you knew that was going to cost them. In these road back-to-back situations, special teams are just so key in giving yourself that cushion so you can get away with it when you run out of gas. Instead of capitalizing being up by 2, the Avs are still up by 1, and the Wild are 1 play away from tying the game. In fact, even beyond that, the Avs would get 2 additional chances on the power play later in the game and would still fail to score, meaning they went 0-for-6 in this game on the power play. And it's just tough to win a road game with a number like that. So you already probably know what happens when the Avs fail to score on their power play opportunities. A minute later, they take a penalty of their own, and you bet the Wild score. A pretty messy one here for the Avs. The Wild work the puck in behind the net where Stahl collects. He then gets Cole to commit to come after him around the far side so he can cut back to the near side. Barberio's going to opt to hold his ground at the post here. That means he has to block this pass from getting through up into the slot. You're going to see Niederreiter cut in right to the top of the crease, and the pass get through Barberio. This creates an initial chance for Niederreiter. Varley does a good job to get a pad save on it, but at the same time, you can see Cole taking a little bit of contact and attempting to play goalie himself here. That means he's not prepared to clear this rebound, so it pops out right to Granlund. Granlund gets a little bit of space because of Cole stumbling, has all the time in the world to open up the area, pick a spot. Varley already down in the butterfly, nice big gap up in the corner, and Granlund manages to hit the shot. And you kind of just knew that was how this game was going to go on the second half of a back-to-back. The defense wasn't perfect, but it wasn't that bad. The Avs just, again, failed to get that cushion on their own power plays. You're going to give up some goals when you get tired. You just have to have the big enough lead to get away with it. It was kind of a strange period from there. There were a lot of shots. The Avs out shooting the Wild 15-13 in the seconds, but very, very few of them were actual high-quality opportunities. The Wild were mucking it up in the neutral zone quite a bit, and both teams seemed content to take long-range chances, ones that when Dubnyk sees them clean, you're just not going to beat him. Despite all of those shots, it was really just a snoozy period. It didn't really feel like there was a high threat chance of scoring for either team, and the Avs were mostly happy with that, except for the fact that they lost their lead. On the flip side, boring hockey is just kind of par for the course for the Wild, it seems. They do this almost every time we play them. Start of the third period, and you can see the sloppiness really start to set in for the Avs, and it was clear that they weren't going to have enough left in the tank. The Wild would very early on ring a post for the 13th good post of the season. That number is really continuing to climb for the Avs. You would see the Avs make a small pushback in the early going of this period, but it would quickly fade and the Wild would completely take over, controlling play, holding it in the Avs zone, and not letting the Avs get much at all. Tired hockey combined with no puck possession, that leads to penalties. About halfway through the period, the Avs take one. Now, to be fair, this penalty on Zadorov that was called a high stick certainly wasn't a high stick, and really in no way, shape, or form was it a penalty at all. It's frustrating that this penalty is going to end up costing the Avs in this game, but again, you can't really blame one bad call in a game where the Avs go 0 for 6 on their own power play. This is another goal that you could feel coming a mile away, and it would pretty much doom the Avs. The Avs get caught chasing the puck way too much here on this penalty kill. You're going to see Calvert all the way up at the blue line here, so Bourque really needs to hold his ground here and kind of just wall off this part of the ice. Fortunately, he gets caught coming out a little bit too high on the puck carrier before Calvert can recover. That's going to leave a gigantic seam right here, and then it goes straight to Granlund on the low circle in the near side. Granlund actually doesn't have a ton from here. It's a good job by Barberio to recover on his side of the ice and Girard covering the far side. Problem is, Calvert is now going to get caught puck watching looking down here, and the puck's going to come back to Stahl in the high slot. From there, Bourque is the one coming sliding across, trying to be the defender. Really, I think Varley might have this shot. It's going to be a bomb, you never know, so I understand why Bourque went for the diving block here, but Bourque just gets the wrong piece of this puck. It deflects off him and totally fools Varley. No chance for him. It's just tough, man. When the Avs had their legs, they looked like the better team in this game, but being in a back-to-back just killed them. A comeback just clearly didn't seem reasonable for the Avs here, as they were already running out of gas, and having to try and do that, there was just no way. Their one real opportunity came with less than 3 minutes left, the Wild taking a penalty, and Jared Bednar made an odd decision here. He opted to pull Varley right away for the initial face-off of the power play. I understand wanting to pull the goalie here, and I'm more or less for it, but you have to do it in the right way. There's no reason to pull him for the face-off. You can wait until you get possession. If you set Varley at the blue line, he can very quickly get off the ice and the extra attacker join the play in 5 seconds. You have 1 minute and 55 seconds of power play left then, so it really doesn't affect anything, including that if that player is already on the ice 6-on-4 in the offensive zone, if you score in 5 seconds, did that 6th player really make any difference? Almost always the answer to that is no. So you're taking a situation where Minnesota scoring from a 200-foot shot is essentially 0, and you're turning it into a coin flip, and you're not really giving yourself any advantage by doing that. If you win the face-off, you get that advantage perfectly safely. If you lose the face-off, you're going to waste time anyway, so why not wait to pull the goalie until it's safer? The Avs, of course, lose the face-off, and it immediately gets dumped into the empty net, making it 3-1 and sealing the game. After failing to score on the rest of the power play, the Avs would add an additional goal that I'll show you here, even though it's too little too late. Barry's just going to feed Rantanen on the half wall here, who's going to throw a puck on the net. Dubnyk gives up a kind of juicy rebound here. Landeskog in front gets about 4 whacks at this puck as he gets beaten to the ground, but just manages to slip it in while he's on the ice. So good news there is Landy continues to score, and Mikko Rantanen continues to stay ridiculously hot, leading the entire league in points. He was just named the first star of the league for the month of October. It's pretty nice to see him getting that recognition that he deserves. Sadly, this goal wasn't going to be enough for the Avs to overcome the issues that they had in this game. Yes, it was more or less a schedule loss for them, but even with tired legs, 0 for 6 on the power play again, and not being able to get that second goal while you have a lead, those are the ways teams win back-to-backs. And that's fine. We know it's still a learning process for the Avs. Finding a way to win these games is that next step for them, the one that separates them from teams like Tampa or true Cup contenders. If it wasn't a back-to-back and the Avs had their legs, to be honest, I wasn't worried about this game at all. I think the Avs take it handily, so that pretty much puts them in a good, solid playoff spot. Some other news and notes here. We now know that Tyson Jost is doing well, but he's not going to be on on the trip for the Avs' next back-to-back. We also know that Comfer is still out indefinitely, and we've also now lost Sven Andrighetto again, who is listed as week to week. So the Avs' forward core is looking a little tattered at the moment. I already mentioned Sheldon Dries. The Avs also called up AJ Greer, who has been playing fantastically down in the AHL. It's a really good opportunity here for the Avs to find out what kind of depth they have on the forward side. This could very well be Greer's last chance to make it in the NHL, at least with this organization, so we'll see if he can play a role similar to that of a Gabe Bourque and try and take someone's job away. While I hate losing to the Wild, this isn't a loss to really dwell on. I think the Avs will be just fine going forward, even if the schedule continues to be really weird. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. The Avs have another back-to-back starting tonight with Calgary and Vancouver, both on the road here. Some easier teams, at least Vancouver, so hopefully the Avs look a little bit better on the second half of this one. And then they get another 4 days off because scheduling, right? I'm Rudo3, and 2 games in 10 days doesn't seem right.